If every time you're near her, the atmosphere feels heavier, quieter, charged, that's not imagination or chemistry playing tricks on you. It's two nervous systems registering something neither of you is ready to say out loud. Here's what most men are never taught. Mutual attraction rarely shows up as bold moves or dramatic confessions. The most dangerous, real attraction shows up as restraint, as tension that feels uncomfortable because both of you are actively resisting a line you already feel yourselves standing on. When two people feel it, the first psychological sign isn't stronger flirting. It's control under pressure. Conversations stretch longer than they should. Not because there is some more so sigh, but because neither of you wants to be the one to end it. Silence appears, but it doesn't feel awkward. It feels loaded. Your awareness sharpens. Your body stays alert. You become conscious of your tone, your posture, even your breathing. That's not coincidence. That's your nervous system reacting to emotional risk. The risk of exposure, rejection, change. A woman who feels nothing around you is relaxed and predictable, effortless. But when she feels something she's trying to suppress, her behavior becomes subtly inconsistent. She may tease you, then pull back, ask personal questions, then abruptly change the subject. That push and pull isn't manipulation. It's internal conflict, her mind negotiating with her emotions in real time. And here's what men often miss. You're doing the exact same thing. You become more careful with your words. You replay interactions. Later, you notice details about her you don't notice with anyone else. Your focus narrows. Psychologically, this is selective attention, and it only happens when emotional significance is present. Your brain has already marked her as important, even if your mouth refuses to admit it. Another sign appears in how you both handle distance. When you're close, there's heightened awareness. When you separate, there's a subtle pull back together, finding reasons to reconnect, accidentally ending up in the same space again. This isn't romance fantasy, it's attachment systems testing safety. Both of you are unconsciously asking the same question. If I step closer, will I lose control or lose you? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Mutual unspoken feelings don't feel peaceful at first. They feel tense, risky, like standing on the edge of something that could either elevate your life or complicate it deeply. That's why neither of you rushes forward. That's why there's hesitation in your voices and weight in your glances. If you've ever walked away from time with her feeling energized but unsettled, that's your psyche telling you this connection isn't neutral. It's active, alive. Whether you act on it or not, the emotional exchange is already happening, quietly every time you're together. And the real question isn't whether the feeling exists. It's whether you recognize it before it turns into regret. The second psychological sign is subtler, which makes it more dangerous. It shows up as emotional exposure without agreement. You start sharing things you don't normally share. Doubts, frustrations, hopes. Stories you never bothered telling anyone else. She does the same, but always with restraint, revealing enough to feel close, but not enough to lose control. This happens because when two people feel something unspoken, emotional safety begins forming before commitment does. Your brains test trust in small doses. You'll notice she listens to you differently, remembers details others miss, how you think, what motivates you, what unsettles you. That's not friendliness. That's attunement. Her nervous system is tuned to yours. At the same time, there's restraint. Moments where one of you almost crosses a line. A deeper compliment, a longer look, a more intimate question. Then an immediate pullback. This isn't confusion. It's fear of consequence. Because both of you understand one honest sentence could change everything. And once spoken, it can't be undone. Men often misread this pause as lack of interest. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. When a woman doesn't care, she doesn't hesitate. She's casual and direct. But when she cares and senses you do too, she becomes careful. With boundaries. With timing. With herself. That caution is emotional intelligence colliding with desire. You may also feel a quiet sense of responsibility around her. You don't want to disappoint her. Her opinion suddenly carries weight. Psychologically, that means she's been placed inside your inner circle, reserved only for people whose approval matters. You'll see the same in her. she reacts to your moods more strongly. If you pull back, she feels it. If you soften, she responds. Another indicator shows up in conflict, or rather, the avoidance of it. When feelings are unspoken, both people instinctively avoid damaging tension. Disagreements dissolve quickly. Humor smooths awkward moments. Misunderstandings get softened instead of escalated. Why? Because neither of you wants to damage something that hasn't been defined yet but already feels valuable. Here's what most men never hear. Mutual hidden attraction creates emotional limbo. Too close to ignore, too risky to act on. And limbo is exhausting. That's why interactions feel intense even when nothing happens. Your body is processing emotional stimulation without resolution. If you've ever left a conversation feeling like something important happened, even though nothing obvious was said, that's emotional intimacy forming quietly. And unacknowledged feelings don't fade peacefully. They surface, or they fracture something internally. The third sign appears after you separate. Not when you're together, but when you're alone. You think about her longer than makes sense. Quietly, her expressions, her tone, the way she reacted to something you said. Your mind runs scenarios without your permission. That's not weakness. That's attachment circuitry activating. And she's doing the same. You see it in small, unnecessary messages. Reactions that don't require replies. Casual reasons to re-enter your space while protecting herself in case you don't mirror the energy. This isn't mixed signals. It's emotional risk management. You may notice emotional mirroring over time. Your moods influence each other, even apart. One pulls back, the other feels unsettled. One opens slightly, the other relaxes. That synchrony doesn't happen randomly. It happens when two nervous systems begin coordinating. There's also unspoken exclusivity. You may still live your life, see others, but she occupies a unique mental space. You compare interactions. You notice what's missing elsewhere. For her, it shows up as heightened awareness. She notices shifts in your energy. If you pull away, she adjusts. If you lean in, she responds. The most telling sign is restraint paired with longing. Opportunities to move forward appear, late nights, vulnerability, privacy, yet something holds you both back. Not disinterest, respect, fear, timing, circumstances, but the desire stays contained and alive. Mutual unspoken feelings live in anticipation, in imagination, in futures not yet tested. That's why they feel powerful and haunting. What's unexplored often feels larger than what is. The fourth sign is the most revealing. How both of you react to the possibility of losing access to each other. Notice the tightening when she talks about pulling away or getting busy. That's not ego. It's attachment threat. She feels it too. You'll see it when she becomes warmer right after distance. Checks in unexpectedly. Reestablishes presence. You also protect the connection instinctively. You choose words carefully. You soften tension. You preserve harmony. She mirrors that. There may be quiet jealousy. Not accusations. Just awareness. You notice when she laughs more with someone else. She notices when another woman captures your attention. That's not possessiveness. It's emotional relevance. Here's the hard truth. When two people feel this and stay silent too long, the tension doesn't stay neutral. One eventually pulls away for self-protection. Not because the feeling died, but because uncertainty becomes too costly. And that's the real risk. Not rejection. Not embarrassment, but letting something real decay into what if, because neither of you acknowledged what was already there. So, ask yourself this honestly. If nothing changes and this connection fades, will you feel relief or regret? Write your answer in the comments. If this resonated, like the video, subscribe for deeper psychological truths, and share it with someone who needs to hear what they've been avoiding. Because awareness is power, but only if you're brave enough to act on it.